All right, students, we're going to go back to how we started our still life design. We started off drawing a line across the middle, the horizon. The horizon is also your eye level. I also asked you to put a vanishing point somewhere along that horizon, of which we would use later in the exercise. I asked us to draw some common geometrical shapes: the circle, the rectangle, the triangle, the square. I have also asked you to put in some other common shapes we see and use in everyday lives, like the plus sign. We also did the heart, but I encouraged you to move the paper around because your hand is more used to working all around rather than under. You could use your hand almost as a compass. I do not recommend approaching this exercise drawing freehand. You will never be able to get neat shapes. I'm going to draw in a number, but I know if I draw my number freehand, it will lack discipline. So I'm going to use a basic bottle top to help me get the round part of my number 5. You need to use these implements: your set square, your protractor, your compass. If you cannot find those items, look for other items which you can use to draw around or help you draw those shapes. Remember, I said we are not having line. Everything must be shape. We cannot have a number 5 like that because it is only line. We're interested in 2D and 3D shapes. Now you can see I'm not very happy with my number 5. I'm going to come back to it and improve it later because I want us to get our demonstration done. But if you have drawn something freehand, you must go back to your design and tidy up those lines. Now, after we drew a number of shapes, I looked at your work and I saw a lot of students are doing isolated small shapes. It doesn't make for a good design. What makes for a good design is where shapes are overlapping. Just like in life, most things are overlapping each other. So I wanted to encourage you to do larger shapes and to overlap. Once you have done your shapes, your numbers, your lettering, your symbols, your signs, I then said, let us use a vanishing point and let us turn our 2D shapes into 3D forms using that vanishing point. And I saw that a number of students have already abandoned using the vanishing point, and you will see that their shapes are out of perspective. Use the vanishing point. Don't try to do things quickly. Use your little implements. Make a disciplined design. Now, once you have started introducing overlapping, You have got to decide which shape is in front. I'm going to say my cube is in front of that circle. So I'm rubbing out the part of the circle interfering into my cube box shape. I've already realised again, I don't want such a big cube. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller because I want to do shading in that cube and I want to do it quicker. So I'm going to rub out some of that cube. It is your design, you make the decisions. Okay, so now I've got my cube. Remember, I said use the vanishing point. Turn your letters are still shapes, turn them into 3D letters. I said you don't have to do with all of your shapes, just some of them. Demonstrate your understanding of perspective. Turn 2D shapes into 3D forms, or even 3D shapes. Now, I'm going to do a thing a little bit more quickly because with time. That's how thick I want my letter E. Right, later on I will tidy this up, but that will do me for now. I just want you to get that concept of turning 2D shapes into 3D shapes. Length, width, and we call this volume. So that's turning 2D into 3D. Now, at the end of the lesson, I asked you to put in your own shapes to fill up the space as fast as possible. You can only fill up space quickly if you use larger shapes. Small little shapes do not fill up space very fast. This is the positive area and this is the negative area. You must have 60% of your area with positive shapes. Only 30% negative shapes, negative space. I don't really want to see any negative space. Now, once we are done our design, I said, let's start shading using a direction of light, either from the right or from the left, nowhere else. I said, let's have the facing side, the neutral side, the middle tone. Now, you need to shade the middle tone with a HB pencil, not with a 6B or a 4B, a HB pencil. Maybe you could use a B or a 2B if you don't have a HB. But your HB really should only be used for drawing your outline and for doing the middle tones. You cannot get a good shaded drawing using a HB pencil only. You need B pencils for dark tones. I'm only going to use 2 pencils throughout my design. One of them is this one, my HB pencil. And then the other one, I know it's a B pencil, I'm not sure what grade it is, but it will do me. Now, you're supposed to get quality shading. We don't want to see scratching. We want to see a nice, smooth, graded tonal drawing. We don't want to see scratching. Now, I'm trying to do a demonstration so you know that I'm going to have to work pretty fast. Now, I've got hold of my B pencil. I can see that it looks like it's a 4B pencil. I'm going to do the underneath. Light shines from above, so underneath does not face the direction of light. It must have the darkest tone. And you'll see, by using my 4B pencil, I can cover that space a lot faster than using a HB pencil, because the lead is softer. Now, I want us to get something very clear. At the point nearest to us should be the brightest and the darkest tones. That helps the eye understand the shape and form of that object. I want this to be my darkest and I want this to be the brightest. Even on my facing side, at the point where light doesn't shine, you will find it is slightly darker there. Although the whole surface may be in shade, the point nearest to you, where light no longer shines, should be a slightly darker tone. Okay, I think we're getting it there. That will do me for now. I want all of this area to have the strongest tones, the darkest and the brightest. Even on my front surface, I'm going to destroy the back just a little bit. I want the point nearest to me here to be the darkest and the brightest. That creates that dramatic effect.